And how is it going, everyone? Welcome to I Wanna Take the Time Machine 2. And yeah, without any further ado, let's just keep going with this shit. No need for any introduction or explanation. So yeah, let's just keep going. Damn. This thing, You know, I think this kind of boss fights wouldn't be so salt-inducing if it wasn't for the fact that they are so long, right? I think that's the main issue. So when you lose, it hurts even more. It hurts a lot. But you know, it is to be expected. But yeah, I just hope. Well, I mean, I've been hoping this for the last like 3 days. I really hope I can finish this asshole right now. Well, okay, when I say right now, I mean today, not literally on this attempt. Wow, that's the first time that he does 2 lasers in a row. Alright. So I gotta say that it definitely will be sweet to finish him off right now, in this very attempt. That will be beautiful. But I think I will be asking for a lot. But you know, I mean, technically I can do it. It's just that, you know, it seems hard to believe that it will be the first one, right? Alright. Starting smoking. Well, regardless of what happens, it is really good for a first attempt. I gotta say that. Definitely pretty good. So there is that, at the very least. Fuck. At the same time, it might also be a double-edged sword, because imagine if I actually got farther on this one. Imagine if I had died right at the end, like on the previous stream, right? If that would have happened, the issue is that I would have been tilted for the rest of the stream, which would have been a really bad idea. So I think, you know, it's better that it didn't happen that way. It's really important with things like this about how the whole session goes, right? But you know, even if I didn't die to the RNG attack there, I probably would have died to the rotating circles attack that would have probably come afterwards. So, yeah. I mean, as I've been saying, it's all a matter of the laser. Though I also gotta admit that there is one attack that I'm not really doing constantly, which is the one with the aimed balls, the red balls, where you have to use the sham refreshers. That one, I still don't really have it, but sadly, that one is purely about RNG, so I don't think it really matters that much, like how much practice you have on that attack, because if you get bad RNG, you're gonna die regardless. About the circles though, the attack with the rotating circles, that one, I think I'm starting to get the hang of it, mostly because no matter what happens, I'm trying to dodge one circle first and then the other one. instead of dodging them at the same time, unless I quickly realize that they are both the same speed and the opposite direction, which means that you can stay in the center. But you know, you gotta be really lucky for that to happen. So usually it's just better to deal with one circle first and then with the other one. That's usually the best way. It usually is. Now, I gotta say, after knowing that apparently this is an original sprite, the one of this boss, gotta say that I'm pretty impressed, right? Because doing something like what you're seeing right there is not easy at all. Like, you gotta be really talented to do that. So I definitely gotta give credit to the creator for that. I mean, sure, it doesn't have really any advanced animation, but it has enough animation to be considered really high quality. So good stuff on that. I mean, I say it looks generic because it does, but you know, at the very least, even if it looks generic, it does its job, you know. I mean, it would have been worse if it was generic and it was, you know, a borrowed character, right? But since it's original, the fact that it looks generic, I mean, it's okay. I mean, there aren't really many ways where you can do an original looking, well, not really original, I guess, a really good looking character that stands out when you're making a gigantic robot, unless you make it ridiculous. But I guess he didn't want to go for that. He wanted to go for the, you know, aggressive look. And it looks pretty nice for that. That's definitely for sure. But obviously, after I'm done with this game, I definitely wouldn't be able to remember how this guy looks. So, you know, it's generic in that sense, that it's pretty forgettable. Which is different from, for example, things like Solgrim. But obviously the reason why Solgrim is not forgettable is because of how fucking ridiculous it is. Like, you're fighting against a gigantic boat of oatmeal. So obviously that will always be more iconic and something that you will remember versus, you know, this, right? Makes sense. A box of oatmeal, not just a box of oatmeal, it's a box of oatmeal with superpowers. A super powerful box of oatmeal. Hey Thundit, how is it going? You know, since you are here, I got a question for you. Good luck with the grind, thanks. I was curious about something, you know, every time that you say that you watch, you know, the VODs of my stream, I noticed that the view count of those VODs is really high, like in the 50s or the 60s or something like that. And it always coincides, you know, it's always when you tell me that you've been watching VODs. Do you replay the VODs multiple times, or is it something to do with the way your internet handles it, or how is what's the thing? Yeah, this, no, all right. So maybe it's just a coincidence. That's weird. Yeah, I mean, it is weird. Like, every time you tell me that you've been watching VODs, when I look at the view count of those VODs, they are in the 50s or 60s, and I'm like, what? Right? Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the way your particular internet handles it. Like maybe it refreshes, you know, without you finding out. It's pretty weird. That's not the first time it happens. Like, it happened before. But, you know, I don't mind. I mean, I won't complain, but it's still weird. Definitely pretty weird. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the way the views works is just someone entering the VOD. Like, just clicking on it, I think, gives the view, but it's weird. It's definitely pretty weird. Yes, I really don't believe that there are 50 people clicking on the VODs. And I especially say it because, you know, as I said, it always happens when you tell me that you've been watching the VODs. So, I don't know. But, you know, there's no problem with that. Definitely won't complain. Just curious, right? Wait, what? Oh, I fucked up so badly. I was like, huh, what's gonna come here? I forgot about that attack. Oh, nice. Good shit. I guess I got distracted because I thought that expansive wave was, you know, the reversing attack instead of that attack. So, oopsies. These fireballs going crazy. It's an interesting attack. You know, when you compare those random fireballs with the nails that fall from the sky, the nails, when they have fire, you know, with that fire that they produce when they land, that fire kills you. But those gigantic balls, the fire doesn't kill you, it's just visual. Which I'm glad, because if it actually kills you, that attack will be incredibly hard, especially because it's RNG. But, you know, it's a weird design choice. Oof, close. Missile. Okay, don't forget to get here. How the fuck did I eat this attack last time? So stupid. At least I learned how to dodge that specific pattern of that, you know, explosions attack. The reversal is not here yet, but it's surely coming. Here it is coming, there you go. Yeah, it's a question mark. Okay, that last jump is the one that is the hardest to do when you are reverse like this. Whew. Close. Damn. All of these are fucking close. Well, that was more than close. Celeste got a new collab mod with more than 80 maps recently, by the way. Nice. Interesting. I can think of some fun games where fire effects like that are deadly and it's... Yeah, I know. Well, I'm pretty much used to every fun game having every single effect from an attack actually killing you. Like, I started to get used to the fact that in these games, sprite equals hitbox. Not in this game, thankfully, but in most of the games that I play, that's the case. Every sprite is a hitbox. So, you know, pretty interesting. But yeah, it's kind of annoying because you don't expect it. Or like those where, you know, there is a bullet and the bullet trail has a hitbox. And I'm like, what? Come on, bro. How is the trail gonna have a hitbox? You don't die because of the trail, you die because of the bullet. You also gotta say that the kid in this game looks unbelievably dumb. Not bad, just dumb. Like, look at this, dude. Like, I mean, I know that the original design was pretty dumb too, but this is kind of like mixing a semi-serious, you know, approach, but then you have that red, you know, that bright red cape. It's funny. It's because most people use GameMaker built-in sprite to hitbox option, so it's literally pixel perfect. I guess I should see how GameMaker looks like. Maybe at some point I can do, you know, I can do a game. I'm just kidding, but you know. Hey Yannick, how is it going? Damn, you also got that emo? Interesting. Wonder where that's from. As you know, Kyle already showed it to me. And it's a cool emo. Making fun games with GameMaker is decently easy to do. Well, I don't think it's about being easy or not. It's really about having the motivation to do it. And when it comes to me creating stuff, it's something that I definitely don't have. Well, not even about motivation, it's about creativity. I'm not a really creative person in the slightest, right? So even if you give me all the tools and all the things to do something, it's really hard for me to get anything done. Ooh, damn, these circles are... Every time, dude, every time I see them... It's kinda like the laser... Well, I guess no, the laser scares me even more, but... The circles, dude... It's something else. Ooh, that was close. I almost forgot to jump fast. Reverse. Okay, this one. That last one was pretty close. This is it. Get fucking fucked, you fucking bitch. Jesus Christ. This is for you. This is for you, piece of shit. Not for the chat. No, for this asshole. Yeah, that F, this F. Piece of shit. You are blacklisted. However the fuck your name was, Lucas something. I'm never playing a game made from you ever again. Ever. Fuck you and fuck this game. And that boss in particular. Fuck all of you. Piece of shit. This is... Oh, okay, and now we're gonna get copyrighted by the credits. Nice. Good shit. The first 20 minutes. That was interesting. Congrats, thanks. Really glad. I don't know, dude. This is barely a win. This is barely even a win. Like, those 12 hours in Fluka, yeah, this fucking... Alright. In all honesty, in Fluka, I have nothing against you. I know that I like to talk a lot of shit about creators when I get salty. I don't have anything against you, but I'm not playing a game made by you again. That's for sure. Like, this is the last one. This one, I think I'm fine with this one. I think I can deal with just this one, but no thanks. I think this is my last one made by you. Fuck, dude. What an emotional roller coaster. Damn, couldn't I have gotten this yesterday? What am I gonna do now? Look at all the time that I have left. What am I supposed to do now? Actually, I know what I'm supposed to do now. Yeah, the avoidance. That's right, yes. Hey Yami, how is it going? Look at some of the games people make. You definitely can make something worse than that. I see. I made an Asteroids clone in Game Maker. The emote is from a VR streamer. Interesting. Told you it was going to go better today. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking yesterday that if I don't get this one today, like, I will just stop trying. Like, regardless of the outcome, I will stop. But, you know, at least it happened. Yeah, I think now I should do the avoidance. You can play secret boss and hard difficulty from now on and choose and enjoy more content like record breaking and collecting treasure. Man, the nerve this guy has. Anyways. So it's to the right. Are you sure? Is it? You may, oh, maybe here? Or not. I don't think I can go in here. Unless F. Oh, space! That's the button. Okay, but this is the destroyed one. Right? This is where you fight the final boss. It says final boss. And look at this beautiful record. 718 minutes. That's literally almost 12 hours. Almost 12 hours, dude. Can you imagine almost 12 hours? Couldn't be me, right? Anyways, so now we have to see where this extra boss is. Maybe we need to take the time machine. I mean, that's the title of the game after all. Okay, not to the past. Okay, no, we don't have to take the time machine here. Alright. Well, in that case, not here. So let's see. Well, maybe we have to go outside, but not the outside that is destroyed, but the outside that is actually functioning normally. So let's see. So we're in the normal outside. Well, quote-unquote normal. So maybe it's around here. Oh, this is the achievement thing. Well, I have some achievements. What achievements do I have? Well, definitely, wow, 20 out of 100. I have some new achievements here. Story. Oh, I guess this is for beating the appearance. What? Invitation. What do you mean by appearance? Alright. Go back inside. I think it just needs to refresh. It's what they did in the speedrun. Alright, just let me check this. Well, no, actually, I don't want to check this achievement. Okay, let's go out. So, by the way, I don't know what this avoidance is, but I'm just trying it, okay? I won't promise that I'm gonna beat it or anything, but I will try it. We will see. Maybe I will get hooked to it. It just needs to refresh. Okay, here it is. Extra boss. Alright, thanks. Really appreciate it. Lunatic mode can be played after beating the extra boss. Lunatic mode. Very reinforced. Spike placement. Very less save points. 400% boss HP. Very reinforced boss patterns. 800 coin increase and get max score. Jesus Christ. How much do you have to hate yourself to play that? Anyways, extra boss. What is this? I wonder how it looks like. Is this a Miku? Well, almost. Wait, I know this song. What is this song? I know it. I definitely know that song. So the hell bar is obviously the timer. Seems like a problem. We will see here what... Seems like it's gonna be a hard one for sure. The good thing is that it's an avoidance, so I don't have to worry about shooting, which is great, because, well, I don't know, maybe I will, but the thing about that is that, you know, I've been playing with a pretty big handicap all this time. A pretty big handicap, which is not being able to shoot while I'm moving to the left and pointing up, because my keyboard is just not that good for that. But if I don't have to shoot, there is no handicap. I think it's half pattern and half RNG. Well, we will see about that. Yeah, I can see that those little white balls are definitely RNG. But I think these are not. Those are static. The problem of these avoidances is that it's not about reacting to anything, it's about memorizing. Which I guess is not that bad of an idea, but I would prefer if it was actually something that I could react to. The good part is that, you know... Damn, how do I dodge that? Maybe from the center? I was about to say, the good part about this is that at least it tells you how much you... how much of the fight is left. So this girl is called Reina. That means queen in Spanish. I wonder who she's supposed to be. Maybe she's an original character. Hey Colo, how is it going? You keep buying useless shit and yet you complain that you can't buy a fucking laptop. Did you actually beat the other guy? Yes, I did. I actually beat the other guy. It was pretty hard, but you know. I'm pretty sad that I didn't beat him yesterday. But, you know. Mostly because now this is an extra boss, right? An extra boss that... Off stream? No, I beat him like 10 minutes ago. What do you mean off stream? Like, literally like 10 minutes ago. It was within the first 30 minutes of the stream. Well, it was, in fact, you know, within the first 10 minutes, 20 minutes of the stream. Maybe try crouching for that pattern. Yeah, I've been thinking about crouching. I usually didn't use crouching much, because as I was saying, with the keyboard that I have right now, you can do this and shoot at the same time. Though I think that's actually not the keyboard, that's actually a mechanic. No, that's actually a mechanic. While you are shooting, you can move if you're crouching. Okay, well, never mind then. But the thing is this one. See this? So I can do this, but I can't do this. I can shoot if I'm pointing and moving to the left. Well, I mean, those are one of the, you know, disadvantages of using a cheap keyboard. Whatever. No, it's not that bad. Don't worry about it. I mean, you get used to it. Or rather, you don't. Usually when you have to... Well, as I always say, if I have to press multiple buttons at the same time, I usually just use a gamepad. And gamepads obviously don't have that issue, because that's the whole point of gamepads. Oh, also, Colo, since you are here, I have pretty good news for you. Like, this news that I'm about to tell you are gonna make you so happy that you should thank me for saying them. So, you know, there is a Touhou gacha on mobile called Touhou Cannonball, but, you know, not really a good game at all. Like, definitely not a game that I would like. But the point is, it got closed after 1 year of activity. So, here. You can celebrate now. Seems like left side might be easier to dodge. Yeah, but it's only easier to dodge on the first part. I feel like the part with the squares is way harder. Like this one is harder. Yeah, that part seems to be harder on the left. That's why I try to do it from the right. Okay, I gotta remember that. Now they just need to erase every trace of Touhou. That's not gonna happen, bro. That's definitely. When am I supposed to be happy? No, you needed to wait a little bit. You're not crouching? I don't think crouching is gonna do anything. The squares seem to be pretty big for crouching to make a difference. Where do you want me to crouch? Maybe a little bit more to the right? I don't get it. What you want me to make me do? Yeah, maybe a little bit more to the right. Yeah, okay, yeah. Now I understand. Just a little bit more to the right. So around here. Okay, no, that's too much to the right. No, I think what I need to do is move to the right when the other square already left the screen. Like that. Jeez. Jesus fucking Christ, that's really hard to deal with. Alright. It's gonna be tough. So I'm just gonna say, just before anyone gets disappointed, I'm not gonna try hard this. Or rather, well, I guess you can say that I might try hard it for the rest of the stream, depending on how it goes. But not really more than that. I'm not gonna do multiple stream shoots for this boss. I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know. I already suffer enough with the piece of shit of a final boss that I just fought. I don't wanna suffer more. Jeez. Those squares stay on the screen for a long time. But yeah. The point is, good shit. What other games have this guy done in Fluka? Other than Camellia 2 and 3, I mean. Just so I can avoid them. I mean, because sometimes some games are collabs, and you know, there might be one that is working in a game, but it doesn't show us the creator, maybe. Plenty of collabs? Oh, fuck. Well, I guess I have to avoid collabs then. Which actually makes me think, did he work in I Wanna Be the Six Elements? Probably not, because that was a Japanese game, I think. I don't know. But, you know, I remember playing that game. That was a pretty mediocre game. Definitely a mediocre game. But, you know, I don't think he was there. Or maybe he was, I don't know. I mean, who knows? No, I think they were exclusively Japanese guys doing that game. But you know, I gotta say though, except for the overuse of Boshi, I really like the First Time Machine. The First Time Machine was really cool. I wish this one would have been as cool as that one, but it definitely wasn't. Not for me. Definitely not for me. But, you know, it's okay. It can be for everyone. I wonder what happens if you shoot. It's funny because most consider this one to be a masterpiece. Yeah, well, that's what I was saying at the beginning of the game. I mean, I don't like to use this word, and I obviously don't want to use it, especially when I don't have the same experience about fun games that everyone else, but I feel like this game is insanely overrated. But because I can understand the production value being probably the best that any fun game has seen, but production value is not everything. I just felt like the gameplay was insanely shallow, and the best part that this game has was the final boss, to me. Funnily enough, right? Yeah, I understand it's because of the production value, but as I said before, what difference is there from those people saying that this is a masterpiece to people saying that, you know, any new game that has the best graphics at the moment is a masterpiece? It reminds me of that. It reminds me of people that only praise a game because it has the best graphics of the generation, especially when it comes to consoles. Like, what's the difference of that, right? So I feel that, I don't know, dude. This game, I really prefer the first one. The first one to this one a lot. People praise the difficulty as well. Yeah, I don't know how. Well, maybe it's because they played in hard mode. I can't imagine Pokemon fans saying the latest game has good graphics. No, I don't think it will be Pokemon fans in particularly. Some did, however, point out that the final boss is a massive difficulty spike. Yeah, but it's not that much of difficulty. So here's the thing, right? So to me, the stages were, first of all, incredibly shallow. There wasn't anything to them that caught my interest, right? Just the stages, to me, were really shallow. The first boss is a lot harder than it should be. Like, the first boss should be like the third boss or something. The second boss was absolute trash. Like, absolute trash. Not because it was hard or anything, but because it was literally a gigantic legs, you know, stomping on you and doing insta-gives everywhere. Then the third boss was okay. I think the third boss might be the best boss in the game without counting the final boss. The fourth boss should have been the first boss. The fourth boss was the easiest one. I don't know why that one wasn't the first boss in the game. It would have been a good way to start the game if that was the first boss, but for some reason it was the fourth one. And then the fifth one was alright. I guess it will be like, you know, it could be tied with the third boss, I think. It was a nice one. Well, the final boss was really good except for the reverse control stuff. The reverse control stuff is absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I don't know how that shit is there. The laser is also a little bit bullshit, but that's more of a thing of get good, right? It's a hard attack, and it's way harder than any other attack that boss has, but you know, it's basically just get good, right? But yeah, that's what I think about the game. You didn't really enjoy normal Neil game, and people think that's a masterpiece as well, so I think the platforming isn't the best type. Yeah, but it's not like... No, here's the thing, right? I don't like Needle, I know that, but in this game, the stages weren't even Needle-centric. They were just boring. Like, it's not like I didn't like them because they were really needle heavy. I didn't like them because they were just boring. There wasn't anything to stand out. I mean, there were some mechanics like that level up mechanic in the water area, right? But overall, felt really shallow. I mean, again, yeah, they look really good, but they should seem shallow. I guess I'm thinking about Lunatic too much. No, well, I'm judging by normal here. I don't know how hard or Lunatic look like, and I definitely am not interested in looking at them. But, you know, normal at least was incredibly shallow. And it wouldn't have been any less shallow if it was harder. That's something that I want to clarify. Like, making the stages harder will have not, you know, taken the fact that they are shallow. But you know, it's alright. I mean, we can all agree with everything. But you know, I feel bad for talking shit about this game because I really sound like a contrarian bitch. I know I do, but I can't help it. It's not like I'm being a contrarian. I just legitimately didn't like this game. Like, and I know that a lot of you might think that I'm salty because of the final boss. Not really. Like, again, the final boss was the best thing the game had. So, that's what I'm saying. Like, I really prefer the first one way more than this. But, you know, it's okay. I think a lot of needle games are pretty shallow when you think about it like that. Yeah, it's yeah, obviously. I mean, I thought that Not Another Needle game was... I didn't like it. I was gonna say was bad. I don't want to say that it was bad. I'm just gonna say I didn't like it because, first of all, the jokes to me were not funny. Like, it was the typical, oh, the narrator is in control and you are at his mercy. That's not funny. That already has been done with Portal. And it can be funny. But the narrator didn't sound like a Chester. He sounded like a bitch. That's the problem. Like, if it was, you know... If it was like the narrator saying some silly jokes or doing funny remarks, but it was just like taunting you while sounding like a bitch. So I didn't like that. And then the needle is like, whatever. I don't like needles, so I don't think I need to say more than that. Yeah, I know, not everyone has to have the same opinion, but when such a generally agreed to be good game like this one, you know, with a game like this that everyone seems to agree that is really good, I really feel like a contrarian, even though it's not my intention. But it's okay, you know. Maybe it's because a difference of expectation. Gabi indeed hates everything he doesn't possess the skill for. I hate everything I don't possess the skill for. And yet you don't see me hating on Wings of B. I love that game and I don't have the skill for it. In fact, I was about to say that how the fuck I'm tryharding this boss that comes from a game that doesn't even hold anything to Wings of B. Why am I tryharding this if I gave up on Wings of B, right? But, well, I'm really glad that I got it today, because I will have applied that logic and I will have given up today, that's for sure. But yeah, that's definitely not the case. I just hate things. Well, no, that's the thing. You're using the word hate. I don't hate this game. I mean, I might have said that I hate this game when I'm in a salty fit, but I don't hate it. I just don't like it. You know. The thing is, it's really all about. I don't know, just something that caters to my tastes, you know. There are examples of things that I'm not good for that I like. I mean, fighting games, for example. Fighting games is the perfect example here. I'm absolute trash at fighting games, but I like them. I like watching tournaments. I like playing against the CPU. I obviously don't like playing against other people. But, you know, it's not really a matter of I don't like playing against other people because it's too hard. I don't like playing against other people because losing feels like shit and winning to me doesn't feel that good. So basically, it's like you're asking to get salty, right? By playing a fighting game online. So I acknowledge that I don't have the skill to compete in a fighting game online, but that's not the reason why I don't like them. I just don't like them because even if I had the skill, I don't think it will feel good. Like, I don't feel that good when I win, and I obviously feel like shit when I lose. And it's mostly because fighting games are such a brutal genre. And sometimes I genuinely feel bad for the person that if I destroy someone, I genuinely feel bad for them. Because if I play against someone that just picked up the game, obviously I'm gonna win. Like, and everyone that has a little bit of experience in fighting games is gonna absolutely destroy anyone that just picked up the game. And I don't like that. It doesn't feel good to win against those people. But the thing about fighting games is that you either play with complete newbies or you play with people that have been playing for so long that, you know, they will obliterate you without a second thought. That's the problem with fighting games. They just don't grow because it's pretty much an almost obsolete genre, sadly, at least multiplayer-wise. I still think that it's a genre with a lot of potential when it comes to versus CPU. And a lot of people think that, especially really hardcore fighting games fans, think that fighting against the CPU is, like, silly, right? Like, if you play fighting games, you should be fighting against other people, and I disagree. The problem is that the AI in fighting games is garbage. That's the problem. Not that the idea of fighting an AI is bad. So that's the problem right there. Like, if the AI was decent, and when I say decent, I don't mean that it will destroy you, because that doesn't mean decent. If the AI can read your inputs and perfectly react to them, that's not a good AI. What I mean with good AI, I mean someone that behaves the most like a player. I know that that's incredibly hard to achieve, but I feel that if you actually put effort into it, you can achieve it. And if that was the case, I feel like fighting games will be way more fun for everyone. But they aren't, so, you know. This is why I like single player games more nowadays. Yeah, I mean, it's the thing about multiplayer games. I just really hate losing against other people. And when it comes to, you know, something that is based on skill, that happens quite often. So I really hate it. And as I said, it doesn't feel that good when I win either, so I just don't care about it. Damn it. It's not losing that's the problem, I just find competing pointless. Well, I mean, competing is not pointless if you're a competitive person, that is. The thing is, I'm not a competitive person. I don't like competing, and I'm not just in games, I don't like competing in general. It's too stressful. I just hate competing. So when it comes to video games, it's even worse, because, you know, it's like you are losing in your own field, right? You are losing in something that you've been playing so much, right? So it kind of hurts your pride, right? So, yeah. Rather focus on myself than comparing myself with others. Yeah, but competing is not about comparing yourself to others. Well, to some people it is. But competing is more about, you know, being able to play something at a really high level. I think that's the main purpose of competing, especially in fighting games. Not so much about saying, you know, my digital dick is bigger than yours. No, it's more about being able to find someone that is as good as you and just have genuine fun. Though, again, I know that for a lot of people it is all about, you know, comparing themselves with others. Then what the fuck is this shit? And that attack seems really brutal. But yeah, that's at least the case with fighting games. But you know, if you want to compete in fighting games, you have to play them a lot, and I don't really feel like doing it. I mean, you could probably make the argument, and probably a pretty solid argument, that if I really find to be an issue training for fighting games, then why the hell did I spend 12 fucking hours on a single boss? It's a good question, but there is a difference. See, when you're practicing a boss like this one, the progress is almost immediate. Because you are seeing how you are being able to overcome the boss. When you go to training mode in a fighting game, you will never see your progress unless you are constantly fighting people at your level, and that's usually never the case. You're almost likely to fight against someone who is way better than you, and everything that you're practicing in training mode is not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. So yeah, that's the reason why a lot of the you know, A lot of the fighting games right now are dead. Unless Asian people are wiped from Earth, which is online compet. No. It has nothing to do with LOL Asians being really good. No. There have been some fighting games where, you know, people outside of Asia have been winning. It's not really about that. It's about, you know, the amount of work that you have to put in. The difference is that Asians, at least Korea for example, esports is an actual thing. Esports is like widely respected. It's broadcasted on television and everything. So what it will be wasting, you know, your free time here, to them is basically like a show. So in that case, that might apply, but only there. Otherwise, Asians, there is no difference. I mean, I know this is obvious, it doesn't need to be said, but just in case, doesn't matter where you were born. It matters the amount of time you put into something. But obviously, I wouldn't put the amount of time that a lot of people put into fighting games, so yeah. Kind of like trying PDH as a beginner. Trying PDH as a beginner. That will be fucked up. Wouldn't wish that to anyone. You can practice with friends. Well, obviously, if you have friends to play a fighting game with, then it can be pretty fun. But the thing about fighting games is that they are not really attractive to play with friends usually, because to find a friend that is actually at the same level as you is not gonna happen. Usually the friend that you're playing with is just starting, so unless they put the work, the same amount of work that you already put, you will not find a good match. Because as I said, if you play against someone that just started at fighting games, you are gonna obliterate them. Unless you obviously you hold yourself back. It really has to do with where you're born. If you're in a third world country, you need to care about your studies and work. The thing about that is that it doesn't matter. I mean, the thing about third world, most countries in the world are third world, including Asian countries. So that's not really a good argument. You know, a lot of really good players come from pretty shitty ass backgrounds. Like, for example, you have, well, when it comes to fighting games, the problem is that I don't really know their background too much, but I remember there being some people that came from the absolute ghetto. Those fucking Chinese who beat my ass at 4 AM in Duel Links don't seem to do anything else. Or maybe you should need to get good. Besides, pretending that China is the summit of development, I don't know, dude. China, first of all, is a really big country, right? So, for a pretty big country like that, it's impossible for the whole country to be absolutely developed. So, the thing about China is that they are pretty similar to us, in fact, in that regard, when it comes to resources. The amount of resources that every person has, I'm pretty sure it's pretty similar to the amount of resources that the low middle class in this country has. So, you know, it's not really a good excuse. The Chinese are not specifically insanely rich people. Well, obviously, except for the actual rich people. But I'm talking about the population in general, and it makes sense. I mean, they are literally 1 billion people in there. It will be crazy to think that most of them are rich. Of course. So, the point is that, yeah, saying that, he beat me because he is Chinese and he doesn't have to worry about anything else than playing is pretty stupid. Because they have to worry a lot about working, you know. Yeah, Yannick can tell you about the salt on Duel Links. I've been going hard optimizing my plays for the cup. Oh, is there a cup? Team. Just need to stand at the right side of that. Sometimes I really wonder how it feels to play Duel Links. But I think the best way to convince myself to not play it is remember every time the salt that I had with this game. So that way... Alright, nice, good shit. What do you think about the avoidance so far? I don't really have any strong feelings about the avoidance. I mean, I don't really like avoidances like this that are mostly about memorizing. So, I don't really care that much for it. I mean, I'm basically just playing it because I beat the boss really fast. Other than that, I wouldn't really be playing this, but I mean, since we have a lot of time, might as well use it. Man, the things that this guy is saying. You know that a Twitch mode is gonna come this way and it's gonna ban your ass, right? And I'm gonna laugh when that happens. Like, come on, bro. You can't say that on Twitch. Motherfucker. Well, I want to make sure I did my best. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about tournaments and competitions like that. It's not really always about taking first place. I mean, you obviously have that in mind, like as an the objective, right? But, you know, you can just view it as something like, if you did your best, then there is no regrets, because you just gave it all. I think I'm going to make more bullet hells in popular games. Hopefully that will bring some new people to the genre. I don't know, it's hard to think that it will bring... I mean, I obviously don't want to discourage you or anything, but it's hard to think that it will bring new people to the genre. Like, I don't see Danmaku games getting new people. You will agree if you play Duel Links. Well, there is also another thing about China, and it's the same thing that I said before. They are literally 1 billion and, you know, 1.5 billion guys in there. Guys and gals in there. So, you know, it's already a really big amount. So it's not that they are good just because they are from China. is that they are good because the chances that someone that is good at something and being from China are pretty big just because of the sheer amount of Chinese people that there are in the world. You know, it has nothing to do with the Chinese Shin or anything like that. It has to do with, as I should say, they are just a lot. I made a Celeste bullet hell fight recently. Yeah, I thought that you meant that. It seems to be pretty popular in the Celeste community. Nice. Perhaps I should try Hollow Knight. You mean to play? Or you mean to make a mod? Because I don't know if you can make mods. Well, you probably can, but if you wanna play it, then yes, it's a really good game. Oh, to make a bullet hell fight? I don't think that's a good game to make a bullet hell. I mean, the way it's designed is definitely not for a bullet hell. No, I don't think it's a good idea, but you know, you can change my mind. I definitely don't think it's a good idea at all because of the way the game physics work, but you know, you can surprise me. Damn it. I don't know which game you could make a bullet hell. Like a custom-made bullet hell that is different from the original idea of the game. Which one would it be? Hey, what about trying to make a bullet hell in Opus Magnum? I'm just kidding, but that would be pretty sick. Imagine if you could make a fucking bullet hell in a game like Opus Magnum. I don't know how it will work. Now, obviously it will be impossible, but I mean, you can use the engine to make a bullet hell, but I'm pretty sure that you can with the actual in-game editor. You know, I would like to see that. I mean, well, after all, every game engine can be used for whatever you like. It's just that obviously it will be harder than using a specialized engine, for sure. But you know. Other than that, damn, that was a bad shot. Also, what was I about to say? I don't know what I was about to say. Probably nothing. Well, I guess I can say that, you know, remember that after the Nets stream, so not the Nets stream, but the stream after the Nets stream, I plan on playing Touhou fan games. Danmaku wants at that. Since we are at the topic of Danmaku and we're actually in a Danmaku avoidance, it felt like it will be a good idea to say it. My internet dies just as I say that. Nice. Well, don't worry about it. Didn't say anything interesting anyways. But yeah. Really wonder how creative the people that make Touhou fan games can get with the patterns. Since I already played a little bit of, you know, I played a bunch of them. Not that many, but I played some. What was your reply? Of Hollow Knight? Oh yeah, that Hollow Knight is not a good game to make Danmaku. I feel like the way the physics work and everything is definitely not thought to dodge Danmaku. So I personally wouldn't do it, but if you wanna do it, go ahead. You can mod the physics into shoot 'em up physics, change the hitbox. Oh really? Well, if you are willing to go through that trouble, then sure, go ahead. I think it will be a good idea. I mean, I don't know how big the Shovel Knight community is though, but that's what I did for Celeste. Yeah, but I think the way Celeste is made, with all the dash and all that freedom of movement, is way more, you know, it's way more, you know, interesting for I use shoot 'em up physics for Celeste and to wait, so you got rid of the dash? So basically Madeleine moves like a ship instead of how she usually moves. Alright. So yeah, I see what you're saying now. So you mean, yeah, catching the attention of those people that usually don't play Danmaku games? Alright, yeah, it's a good idea, I feel. But I really don't think you can make them interested on the genre. Well, maybe some, but well, it's still a good idea. It's a good idea because at least they will get exposed to it. The reason why I say they are most likely not gonna get interested in the genre is because the genre itself is not really that appealing, right? Like if you come from a background like Celeste, right? I don't really think that you would like to, like you see something like Dodonpachi and you will be like, oh shit, this looks sick, like, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't be the case. In fact, try to look at it the other way. Hear me out. Imagine, I know this might sound pretty ridiculous, right? And it probably is. But imagine if someone took a Danmaku game and somehow twisted the engine in a way, I know this is pretty unlikely, right? But twisted the engine in a way to make it a first-person shooter. Will you be interested in first-person shooters if that was the case? It's definitely possible. Yeah, it might be possible, but the thing is, if someone does it in your favorite shoot 'em up Danmaku game, will that make you interested in FPSs? That's the real question. Because you might like it because it's related to something you like. Am I really interested in FPSs? Well, I guess FPSs is a bad example then. It will be a genre that you have no interest in. Like, well, which genre do you have no interest in? Like racing games, for example? Like, let's say that you are not interested in racing games, right? And they turn, you play racing, god damn it, is there a genre that you're not interested in? I need to make this example, you know, it doesn't work if you're already interested in them. Like, that's the point, because I'm pretty sure the people that will look at your mod and come from Celeste, well, some of them might be shoot 'em up plays, but the ones that are the ones that are not, I don't see them taking interest. Candy Crush. Candy Crush is a genre. I think we don't need to learn about the genre he likes. The idea is understandable. Well, yeah, but basically, I guess Candy Crush is a good idea. Like, imagine if they pick Dodonpachi and in the engine they make a Bichewell clone. Will you be interested in games like Candy Crush then? Or any other Bichewell clone? Or again, well, if you like Bichewell, just think of any genre you don't like. And imagine someone modding that genre into Dodonpachi or whatever Danmaku game you really like. Will you really be interested in that genre? That's what I'm trying to ask here. And I'm not saying this to discourage you. It's just I'm saying this to maybe so you don't set yourself up for disappointment. That's what I'm trying to say. If I didn't like it, probably not, but getting people exposed to it is the idea. Yeah, well, that's for sure. Exposure, it's definitely fine, but I've seen a lot of people, and this happens a lot with games that have tournament and shit, right? Like, for example, I remember there was a time where there was a stream about Battle Garega that came right after, a fighting game stream, so a lot of people that like fighting games were watching it. And they were all, mind-blowing about, like with Battle Garega, because it was being played by the best player in the world. I really doubt any of them try to go and play Battle Garega. And I don't blame them. Battle Garega definitely is not something, suited for anyone. But yeah, the thing is, I'm trying to say here is that it's gonna be hard for them to try, but exposure it's fine, I guess. Exposure, sure. It's a good way. I mean, that's what I will do, for example, if I made a fun game for example, and I wanna be the guy fun game, right? I will probably put Lennon characters, right? Or something like that. And I don't expect people to go play Lennon after that. It's just that I want to, let people know that those characters exist. So in that case, I can understand you. It's going to get way more views if I make mods in those games than my own Danmaku games. Yeah, maybe. By the way, the reason why I can make anything I want is anything I want there is because it involves C# coding is making your own game in a game. Making your own game in a game. Well, I know that C# and especially Visual Studio gives you a lot of tools for doing a lot of stuff easily, but I mean, I don't know because I never really got into it. I mean, I know C#, but I don't know C# oriented to video games. So yeah. I remember when I downloaded the Epic, like from the Epic Games Store, I downloaded Unreal Engine 4 because it's free, right? And then I was like, there is no way I'm gonna learn all this shit. Like modding Celeste, Hollow Knight, Terraria, and similar games isn't that hard. Anything is possible with coding there. Well, yeah, I mean, you can mod literally every game, even the ones that are, well, I guess except for the ones that have a pretty strict anti-piracy checking, right? Like games that cannot even be cracked. I'm pretty sure you can mod those, or if you can mod them, it will have to be a pretty heavily modified base version. It's just not that enough Mar knows how to code bullet hell at all, so my C# bullet coding experience helps a lot. Yeah, well, I think most people don't know because most people are not really interested in bullet hells. I mean, it is the way it is. Just like I'm pretty sure many people are not really, you know, not really have many experience with fighting games, right? And all that it takes to actually make a fighting game and balance a fighting game. So it's all about lack of interest rather than anything else, right? But you know, it is what it is. I personally, you know, even if it would be nice if more people were interested in bullet hell games, I feel that it's okay. I think I prefer it this way. I mean, I know that I'm probably not the best example here, but I really like when, you know, there is not that much people in something, right? So if there aren't many people interested in bullet hell, I feel like to me that's better, because that means that, you know, when I stream bullet hell games I have to deal with less people, which is great, because, you know, I already experienced what it feels to deal with people that feel pretty strongly about their game. You know, we have a hipster. No, I just don't like people. That's not being a hipster. That's being a... What's the word? Is it antrophobe? No, that's... Is it? Maybe it's antrophobe, I don't know. I mean, I just don't like people, what can I say? So, I wouldn't like having high concentration. No, not antisocial. Well, it could also apply, but no, there is a specific word. I think it might be something similar to antrophobic, but maybe antrophobic is a little bit too strong of a word. I don't think it's exactly that one. You know, I see plenty of modders trying to make bullet hell and not really making that many impressive or different patterns. Well, that has more to do with creativity than with knowledge, right? Not really that much to do with... Yeah, like as I say, not really that much to do with knowledge. It's just that some people are creative and some other people are not. Vision? No, vision is a different thing, okay? Vision is definitely a different thing here. But yeah, don't worry about it. I wonder how much time this avoidance is. I know I can see the meter, the health points going down, but I wonder how much that translates to time. Also, what strategy do you have there, Thundit, for this attack? This attack with the light blue and white bullets. Those are actually the colors of my flag, the Argentinian flag. Sky blue and white. Well, if you have any strategy for this one, I will appreciate it, because I should see this as a complete random mess. I don't see any pattern here. Well, I mean, I see that the bullets are being shot in groups of 3, but that's not really that useful. You'll be surprised how many people I've been seeing ask how to make a bullet hell pattern. Well, I don't know. I definitely am not in that environment to know. Though I guess a lot of the difficulty might come from lack of knowledge of mathematics. I mean, I don't know mathematics too well, especially when it comes to, I don't know if this is how it's pronounced in English, but I'm gonna attempt it anyways. Trigonometry, is that how you pronounce it? That's something that a lot of people, including myself, struggle with. So, Danmaku has layers. I think for that attack you just need to react. Really? You just need to react? In. Alright. Well, thanks. Yeah, I kinda thought so, but I thought that the attack was really fucked up for just being reacting, but I guess it is just reacting then, huh? Well, that's gonna be painful. Definitely gonna be painful. Yeah, that's definitely gonna be painful. So I don't know if it's static. It might be static. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Trigonometry, yeah, exactly that. So trigonometry is really hard. It's really hard, especially because most of the time it's not really about numbers, it's about theory. I mean, there is a lot of really, you know, strict rules that you have to memorize. That obviously they are logic, I'm not saying they are not, but you just have to memorize a lot of shit, and even then, it sounds like a complete mess. Yeah, trigonometry, it's pretty important in Danmaku. I don't know of any other way of dodging an RNG attack like that other than... Wait, is it RNG? I thought it was static. Alright. Well, I guess it's RNG then. Do you want to know how to make basic circle pattern of bullets? Well, I'm assuming it has something to do with pi. Is it pronounced pi? Because in Spanish it's pronounced pi. I'm assuming it's pi in English, right? You know, the Greek letter. You know, 3.1417, etc. Is that pronounced pi in English? I think it is. Well, regardless, I'm pretty sure you need to use that, right? I think you're supposed to use that in order to draw circles. Probably. Maybe. I don't know. Delicious pie. Yeah, I think it's called pie because I've seen a lot of people do that pun. Like they compare pie, the letter, to an actual pie, an actual edible pie. Right? I think it's pronounced like that. So I don't know why it's pronounced like that. If it's a Greek letter, shouldn't it have the same pronunciation in every language? Whatever. It's English, don't question it. That attack is actually static. Okay, I thought so. Yeah, it looks static. It looks static. Okay. Alright. So that means that I just have to memorize it. I was out to do that anyways, so it seems a little bit hard to memorize. Yeah, this one is also static, I'm pretty sure. But it's pretty hard to do so. Just read about it from someone who cleared the fight. Yeah, it seems to actually be static. It indeed looks that way. Everything up to this point is static. Well, except for those white bullets right there. Those are RNG. Everything else, though, it is static. Okay. So It's just a matter of memorizing it. Oh, I forgot to crouch. Damn it. My bad. Damn, I really wonder how this game feels to play with weapons. Obviously, in this fight, weapons wouldn't do shit, right? But I wonder how the rest of the game, well, the rest of the bosses will feel, because, you know, the game, most of the time you don't need to use weapons in the stages. Sometimes you do, but I really wonder. And I think I will keep wondering, because it's pretty clear that I can't fucking buy weapons with the amount of coins that I have right now. You know. Apparently, Clone Cat told me after watching a lot of fights that the shotgun seems to be a particularly popular weapon in this game. Well, I mean, shotguns are usually really good in every game, because they usually have the best damage. It's just that you obviously need to get close to do it, to deal it. But yeah, usually shotguns get that fame of being pretty good. There aren't really many games where shotguns are trash. I mean, there are some, but I don't think most of them the shotgun is a bad weapon, usually. At least I don't believe so. But, you know. Wow, I keep dying to that one. What's wrong with me? Like I didn't learn anything. Yeah, seems about right. So you do a for loop of 11 iterations. You use a function called instance bullet. You pass the context, boss aim, angle plus the iteration count multiplied by 360 divided by the bullet count. 11 is the bullet count. 360 is the circle radius. Well, the problem is, I don't think that really says much. I mean, not knowing what instance bullet does kinda makes the whole code, you know, not really that descriptive. It seems that the actual, you know, fun stuff will be in that function. It creates a bullet, it will be different for different programming languages. Yeah, I know, it's just that we'll need to know what the parameters are. Well, I'm assuming this is just the context, the boss aim, I'm assuming are the coordinates where the boss is aiming, and I don't know about the last one. You know. So I gotta say, I really don't like the naming. Wait a second. Let me try to get this. I was about to say, what I don't like here is the lack of camel case, but maybe it's because, well, there is camel case in boss aim. I don't know why it's not in instant bullet and bullet count. It's okay. It's the origin point, boss aim is the aiming point, angle is the angle you define. I is the current bullet multiplied by the circle radius divided by the total bullet count. Okay. Well, I don't know. I think that's mostly why I didn't really get into game making, because what I don't like is that most of the stuff is done, you know, is done in the backstage, right? When I say the backstage, I mean most of the stuff is not really defined by you, well, unless you actually go and define, I guess, the engine, but you know. Basically, what I don't like is that you have to use a lot of functions that are probably pretty low level stuff. Low level as in low abstraction. And I wouldn't even understand what I'm looking at on those low abstraction functions. And I don't know, that's a little bit boring to me, but you know. Well, that's one of the reasons. The other reason is because I obviously don't want to put the effort into actually learning, which might be a pretty strong reason, you know. But yeah, it's not that complicated. Yeah, it might not be, but I definitely don't want to do it. I mean, it's just a pain in the ass. Creating things. Creating things is really not my thing. I'm not creative. So you know. When it comes to developing things like that. Well, I mean, understanding what you're doing is a big portion, but the biggest portion is creativity, which, as I said, I don't have. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying that particular function, like, I'm not talking about individual things, I'm just talking about the general sense of learning that I don't really care. You know, it's just too stressful. That, and as I said, even if it wasn't stressful, I wouldn't be able to come up with creative ideas. So, you know, it is the way it is. It also doesn't help that, you know, when you turn something into your show, it's pretty hard to look at it as a hobby. So, as I also say multiple times before, I wouldn't be able to code outside of my work, because it will definitely feel like work, precisely. So, yeah. Viral Patterns Tomb. Well, what I usually do with those kind of things is I just look it up on Google and then I just copy paste them. So for example, when I'm at work and I have to, like, for example, get the specific position of the character in a string or something like that, instead of, you know, actually thinking of it myself, I just copy paste it from the first result in Google. Mostly because I already know how to do it, but there is no reason to memorize it. So I just copy paste it. You want to search for math, but you type for drug instead. Come on, bro. The A and the E are pretty far from each other. How the fuck did you make that typo? It's math, it's not meth. Fucking stoner. Copy pasting code is great. Yeah, it is pretty good. But you have to do it with caution. I've seen a lot of atrocities in my work, right? Like, there are people copy pasting stuff. But the problem is, some people copy paste stuff without any regards to style, right? So a lot of times the person they copy pasted from, for example, is using, I don't know, is using a certain kind of white space style, right? Like they might leave 2 white space or something in between operators or some shit like that. And that really looks bad with the rest of the code that is not written like that. And what's even worse is that we write code in Spanish, right? Because our clients are only local companies. But there are some people that just copy paste and don't even bother changing the name of the variables. They just leave it in English, which, I mean, it's fine. But, like, come on, bro. At least try to make an effort in making the code look unified. In making the code look like something that has, you know, some continuity. But then you see that and you are like, you know, they even copy paste the comments in English. And I'm like, come on, bro. Why you gotta do that? Sometimes they don't even care about the tabulation, right? A lot of the time they leave an completely different and uneven amount of space. Copy pasting is fine, you just need to understand how it works and modify yourself. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But some people at my work don't even go through that trouble. Will the clients even know anything about the code? No, but the point is not about the clients caring or not. It's about making the code look clean. So, and I've seen many fucked up things in terms of language like that. Like, some people have the nerve to declare a variable in Spanish, and then they declare a variable in English that has the exact same name, just in English. So obviously it is allowed by the language, like by the programming language I'm talking about. But it's like, dude, what the fuck? You're supposed to avoid that, right? Like, what's next? You're gonna name a variable in Italian with the same fucking name? Like, that's not what you're supposed to do. If there are 2 variables that are different, you at least have to make the effort to display why they are different. So if you call a variable number and you call a different variable número, which means number in Spanish, like, no, dude, you're a fucking dumbass. Like, that's the problem, and I seen that. It's funny. I usually just name it variable 1, variable 2, or something specific. Nah, variable 1 or 2 is something that it's also, well, I mean, that's the thing. Usually, if you have 2 variables that are the same thing, or rather, that represent... No, I know you mean different names with 1 and 2. No, I know, but... Oh, well, if it's an RNG variable, well, I guess there is not much you can do there. Well, yeah, if it's a variable whose only purpose is to store an RNG value, I guess there is no other option than to name it 1 and 2. Yeah, I guess that will be an exception. It's just that obviously I don't work with RNG because, you know, I work for a bank. Banks don't need RNG for sure. That's for sure. Mysterious value. Mysterious value. Yeah, I see about the RNG naming. But you know, I think what really makes me the most angry is not even about variable names. It's about people that can fucking... I don't know how this is said in English. But you know when you tabulate the text, so for example you declare a function and everything inside the function is moved one tabulation to the right. I don't know how that's called in English. Something about indentation, is that how it's called? Well, whatever it's called, okay, indentation. So the thing about that, I hate when people don't respect indentation. Because it's such an easy thing to do. Like, it's not that hard. You just need to look at the structures, right? You just need to pay attention, and after that you just press tab. And if you did it, you know, one time too many, you should press shift tab, and in most editors that makes the text go one tabulation back. The problem is, some people don't give a shit, and the worst part is that they make it more difficult on themselves by doing shit like that. Because when they read that code at some other point in their lives, they are not gonna be able to quickly grasp it because it's completely disordered, right? I just hate people that do that. It's so infuriating. RNG, spiral angle, spiral reversal, boss timer. Yeah, sounds about right. But yeah, I think it also speaks from a lack of interest in coding, right? When people do that shit, it really pisses me off. Because, you know, if they only shitted their own code like that, I wouldn't care. I mean, it's your code, you are able to make it as ugly as shit as you want. But the problem is that that's code that I have to modify later. So it's like, dude, will you say those are good names? Yeah. Well, no. Actually, yes. No, I was sorry. I got distracted by something. No, yeah, they are good names. Sorry, I spaced out for a second there. Yeah, those are good names. Sorry, at this rate my brain is not really working the same way it worked before I knew this game. You gotta understand, after 12 hours of this shit, you start to feel the repercussions. Start feeling the problem. So yeah, don't worry about it. Fuck. Well, there is only one criticism I will make. In a Boolean variable, instead of calling it a spiral reversal, I will call it is a spiral reversal. Or something that answers to a yes-no question. But you know, that's not really necessary. It's just that whenever it's possible, I feel like it's a good idea. Well, sometimes you can understand by the context. It's not really. That could be good to differentiate. Yeah, that's usually when it comes to Boolean variables, my advice is always make the name answer a yes-no question, because that's what pretty much the value represents, a yes or no, true or false, right? So sometimes you don't need to, because it's understood by the context that you don't need to put that, but like for example, you can make a Boolean variable called married, right? You don't need to put is married. Like if you just call it married, it's probably understood that it's a Boolean, because it's basically trying to say if it's married or not. So I will say those exceptions are. I think I'll try putting is in front of bools. Yeah, I mean that's what I do. And something that is important too. You know how when you create a function, usually the naming for the function is a verb and an object clause, right? The thing is, that's true, that's a good practice, but if the method or the function is gonna return a Boolean value, I feel that that specific function should also answer a yes-no question. I know that that's going against the verb and object clause rule, but I feel that it's way more noticeable. So for example, let's say that you are validating a name, right, to see if the name that a person has input is valid or not. Instead of having a function that say validate name, instead of doing that, you should do something that is name valid. Because if you say validate name, what is the right answer, right? Like if it returns a true, does it mean that the name is valid, or does it mean that the validation has detected an error, right? So in those cases where the function returns a Boolean, also I will answer a yes-no question. So that way you have is name valid, so that way you know that what that function is doing is validating the name, and if it is valid, it will return true. If it's not, false. Oh, no problem. Don't worry about it. That's a pretty interesting thing. I remember one of the engineers in my company told me that, because I told him, wait, but function should always be verb and object clause. And he was like, yes, it's good to follow rules like that, but it's more important to make it directly obvious what the purpose of the function is. And when he told me that, I'm like, he's right. A lot of times when you validate something, like especially in functions that are about validating, you never know if when they return true means that whatever they validate is valid or that an error has been found. So in that case, I think it's important. I mean, to answer a yes-no question. So yeah. The thing about coding is that at least to me, one of the most important things about coding is making your code readable. I mean, making it work sometimes is not that big of a deal. Well, there are some exceptions, but most of the time, making something work is not that hard, in the sense that it can be done in multiple ways. You don't need to just go for one just because it immediately works. So I feel like a lot of effort should be put into doing little things like this, right? Especially because code, I think, should be understood from the coding itself. I mean, you can add comments to the code, but it's really pointless to name your code and, you know, every identifier in your code with useless names and then just write like a 10 lines comment explaining what everything does. Comments should be reserved only to things that seem hard to understand at first glance. Like, for example, sometimes when I calculate a date, usually you calculate with milliseconds. So for example, if I want to calculate a date that takes place tomorrow, I will first of all get obviously today's date, right? And then add 24 hours. But that 24 hours will be added in milliseconds. If I'm not mistaken, that's 86,400 milliseconds. I don't know, it's around that. I don't know exactly how much it is. But the point is, since that number might seem arbitrary, like it might seem completely random to see that number there, that's when I will add an explanation. This represents the amount of milliseconds in a day, or something like that. But otherwise, you usually should make the code understandable with the code itself, and not with a fucking 200-word essay explaining what the method does. But you know, I know that when it comes to video games it's a lot harder, because a lot of the logic, especially the one that includes, you know, handling memory, you know, and allocating memory, shit like that, or drawing a graphic, a lot of that might seem pretty arbitrary when you read it in the code. So it might be a little bit different there. It might be pretty necessary to have more commentaries in code like that. And I don't have any experience with video game coding, so I wouldn't know how hard it can get for people to understand what the code does through coding alone. But yeah, usually if you make a really readable code, you don't need commentaries to explain what that code does. You usually just need, you know, good identifier names. Speaking of Celeste, it's funny because I'm pretty sure the vanilla player code of it is a massive mess to read. Well, let's not forget that a lot of times the code is minified because it saves space. So most of the times when you try to read the code of you know, of a product, right? Of a product that is actually out there, you know, in a productive state, usually you will see minified code because that saves space, and also, you know, it might help hiding some stuff that might not be something that other people will want to, or you wouldn't want other people to read, right? So usually, yeah, that's the stuff. Like I remember, it's pretty funny. Oh, they released the source code for the player. Oh, I see. Well, in In that case, that will be different. But yeah, I was about to say, it's pretty funny because there was a time where there was someone in Reddit. I know that already mentioning Reddit can give you an idea of what to expect. But basically, there was someone at Reddit bitching about the code of the Epic Game Store or something like that and say, this is unreadable, what the fuck? Fuck Epic Game Store. Well, it turns out that that code was minified. And the dumbass that was criticizing the code was a beginner in programming. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Don't you have a little bit of shame? Like, those people, don't they even have a little bit of shame? Like, imagine if I just went to, I don't know, a Magic the Gathering convention and I decided to be the commentator, right? I am like, oh, let me commentate. And I should say whatever shit comes to my mind, obviously, because I never played Magic the Gathering. Like, can you imagine that? That's pretty much how that bitch sounded like. Like, dude, if you don't know what you're talking about, don't open your mouth. It's as simple as that. The motherfucker thought that watching a YouTube tutorial on how to code was enough to, you know, you can decompile the code anyway. I see. Honestly, I don't really care how readable the code is anyway, I just want to make my own code good. Well, that's the thing, it should be readable for you, most importantly. I mean, it obviously should be readable for others if you are actually sharing that with others, like for example in my show. But one of the main reasons to make code readable is also for yourself, because like 3 years from now, when you don't remember what you did and you have to look back into it, you will be like, what the fuck did I try to do here? So yeah, it's important for that. That's why I try to do nice. Beginners talking shit they don't know about is known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. I wonder who Dunning-Kruger is. Well, that's pretty useful, because that's something that I always criticize. That's one of the things that I hate the most, actually, when people talk without knowing. Because, okay, one thing is talking without knowing, but at least making it clear beforehand. Like being like, I don't know much about this subject, and all I'm saying is from, you know, my little experience with it. So by saying that, you are like, alright, this guy, maybe we shouldn't be paying that much attention to what he says about that. But there are some people that don't know shit and talk as if they were professionals. That's the problem. And I hate that so much. That just pisses me off so much. Like, at least have a little bit of humility to admit that you don't know. So, with that humility, not only you are saving yourself the trouble of looking like a fucking bitch, but you're also saving others the problem of thinking that what you say is true and misguiding them in the process. But there are some people that don't seem to realize that. Well, clearly not. Or maybe they just don't care. They are the kind of people that just want to watch the world burn. But yeah, in any case, the point is that I just really dislike people that talk without knowing. If you're gonna talk without knowing, make sure that the person you're talking to knows beforehand that you don't know what you're talking about. So that way, they will understand that, you know, they should take what you say with a grain of salt. It's two people, Dunning and Kruger, and what did they do? Speaking of bullet hell, I use Vector 2 a lot. And what will Vector 2 be? Sounds like the name for a trial, right? Like, you know, those usually trials are named after the people that, you know, the people that is suing the other people, right? Vector 2 is an X and Y position. Oh, I see. Well, I mean, yeah. I'm assuming that will be something that you will use a lot. They are social psychologists that made a study and won a Nobel Prize. Yeah. Was that study related to talking about things you don't know about? Well, I'm assuming, because otherwise I don't see why it will be called like that. So I gotta say that I don't know how to dodge that last attack that I'm struggling at. Maybe that's my limit for this fight. That's a pretty shitty limit, I gotta say. But whatever. Will be worse, I guess. I don't seem to be able to dodge that one. Even if it's a static. Maybe this is not the easiest way to dodge it from. Maybe instead I should be dodging it from the right. Because it seems really, really hard to do. There doesn't seem to be much logic to it too. It's just pure memorization. It seems to be a lot of memorization. The study's The study's title and skill and unaware of it, how difficulties in recognizing one's own incompetence lead to inflated self-assessment. Yeah, I feel you know, that's a pretty big problem. Not so much for the people that says it. I mean, I could give less of a shit about the people that says it and what repercussions it could have to them. I'm worried about the amount of people that it misguides by saying something that is simply not true. That's the real problem here. I mean, if he gets something bad from it, whatever, he deserves it, but the problem is all of the other affected people. So, you know, that will be the real problem. CDS script is similar to Python. You can also use C++ and shader code. In. C++ is definitely not something that I want to get into. I wanted to get into it, but it's just too much. What can I say? I'm a JavaScript developer, so obviously things like that will be too much for me. For Celeste, all the code modding is done with C#. I guess I can deal with C#. Though, you know, I've seen that a lot of game code that uses C# uses its pretty big share of C++. Like, you use C# for the high abstraction stuff, and then for everything regarding graphics you use C++ because it's obviously faster. Terraria and Hollow Knight modding is also C#. Terraria, huh? And that was a pretty interesting playthrough. A pretty short-lived playthrough, that is, but interesting nonetheless. That was definitely a pretty short-lived playthrough, I can tell you that. It was pretty funny. I was like, there is no way I'm doing that, and I just, you know, fucked off out of there. I mean, it's just way too hard, dude. I probably should have played in the normal difficulty, but nah. Too late now. Especially because literally everyone was telling me to not play the normal difficulty. Well, I mean, probably not literally everyone, but most of them. Rest in peace, Terraria. It's alright. I mean, as I always say, there are games for everyone. And that game is definitely not for me. That's what I know. Definitely not. So, you know, there is that. Oh shit. Damn, Toho bullets. They are finally here. The arrowheads. Oh shit. She's pissed. Well, hey, at least we got to the RNG section. That's something. So it seems that the only problem with that static pattern is that very last barrage of attacks. That's what really makes it pretty hard to deal with. But hey, at least it's a static, so as long as you learn what to do, it's gonna be fine. But you also have to execute it. Like for example there, I didn't execute it properly. Yeah, I know the Net's attacks are random. But I think that's better. Well, again, okay, it's better depending on how they are. If they are too fucked up and also random, I wouldn't know. But we will see. But yeah, that light blue and white attack seems pretty fucked up. It is. It is! Though maybe the way that I'm dodging it is not the most optimal one. But, whatever. I wonder if we're gonna be able to get halfway through the fight. I think that if I can reach halfway through the fight, I'll be happy. I don't need to beat the fight. Reaching halfway is good enough for me. So the problem here is not this, but what she fires afterwards, which are yellow bullets that seem pretty fast. Like, look at that shit, dude. That shit is insanely fast. Since it's static, there's probably a better strategy. Yeah, it's just that if I start dodging the fight from the left side, there is barely any opportunity to go to the right side. So I kinda have to stay here. If I try moving to the right side right now, it's obviously a suicide. So, if I have to dodge it from the left side, at least so far I've seen that that seems to be the strategy that works the most. For me, obviously. That jump I delayed it too much. You don't have to delay that jump because otherwise you're gonna land in the bullet like I just did right there. It's okay. Well, I guess this could be a good challenge when I have nothing better to do. No, honestly, I don't think so. Yeah, as I was saying, I don't really like avoidances either. You know, when it comes to fun games, I don't like either needle or avoidances. I just like adventure games. I noticed that. I feel like I need to play adventure games. If I play anything else, seems like a bad idea. You know, it's alright. The point is that, you know, that first shot is so fast. Staying in the corner for the RNG attack seems to be the best. It seems that way because the distance between the boss and you is obviously the farthest when you're in the corner. That's usually how it goes in most avoidances like this, because if you stay in the middle, the distance between those attacks and you is gonna be way short and you probably wouldn't have time to react to it. Here is a question: if I made a bullet hell mod for Terraria, will you be interested in that? I don't wanna disappoint you, but probably not. And the reason of that is because I already didn't get into the actual game, so I don't think I will play a mod before even beating the game. And since I don't think I'm beating the game, yeah, I will personally not be interested. In fact, I'm more interested in your Celeste mod. Just that I probably wouldn't play Celeste anytime soon, but I'm interested in that one. My mods are literally like a shoot 'em up. Yeah, no, I know that, but I feel that a mod is best played when you actually play the entirety of the original game. Can link a video. I guess I can check it out later. Maybe someone can post it in Discord so I can see it afterwards. Well, I mean, I will send you an invite to Discord, but I know that you don't like that kind of stuff. So I guess one of the people here can copy paste it to Discord. The reason why I say that is because I'm gonna forget. I have a really bad memory, so unless someone copy paste that on Discord and adds me, I'm definitely not gonna remember. For sure. So yeah. It sucks to have a bad memory, but whatever. You learn to deal with it. Uh-oh. Damn it. Here it is. Actually, I can post it myself. I don't need to wait for someone else to post it. Here. I'm gonna add myself too. There you go. So that way I don't forget. Thanks. There it is. Done. Yeah, I like it because when you add yourself, the message appears in yellow. Very nice. I mean, it's a way to catch the attention. Speaking of Discords, maybe you should join some Discords that actually are... Well, probably you did, I don't know, but if you want to spread the Danmaku word... I mean, obviously, I'm not saying my Discord because, you know, my Discord, everyone already knows about Danmaku, and everyone is also a stoner. But, you know, in Discords that are about development of mods or general, you know, Discords of, you know, of certain games that have its own channel for mods, maybe you could go there. Recently started joining different Discord servers actually. I'm pretty well known in the Celeste Discord. Nice. That's what I'm talking about. It's a good way to spread the word. I honestly have stopped joining Discords because, as I said before, I don't like people. But you know, in your case, it will be a good idea to join at least those. I mean, literally, the only Discord I pay attention to is my own. You join the Touhou Discord too. I think there are multiple Touhou Discords. But yeah. I just really don't like other people at all. Like, damn. I used to be in other Discords, and I used to hate how people express themselves. Like how people, you know, some people have really strong opinions, right? But the problem is those people that have strong opinions stating them as fact. And I'm not just saying their way of speaking, like they genuinely think that their opinion is a fact. And they act all pedantic about it. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? And the worst part is that if that opinion is shared with the admins of the Discord, it's gonna turn into a circle share. And I'm like, damn, that's so fucking nasty. So basically, I choose, you know, I just exit every Discord I was joining at. And the only Discords I'm now joining at are, well, obviously my own and, you know, another one with Mr. Colo. And, you know, my inner group. I mean, my inner group of stoners. Colo being the number one. I used to use it to play Ragnarok online, but you know. I think there's only one really big one. Let's see. I remember the time I got circle shared by some in the shoot 'em up community, fun times. Yeah, it's just really nasty. I hate communities because of that. And that's what I want my community to not be. I don't want a community that agrees with everything I say. I don't want a community that constantly, you know, shits on something, and since everyone is shitting on something, they join on the shitting. I mean, shitting on abstract things is fine. The problem is when, okay, not abstracting, on products, right? If you, like for example, I shit on Touhou Cannonball for being a piece of shit of a game, right? It's fine, shitting on products is okay. But the problem is when people start shitting on opinions or on ideas, or on people, which is even worse. That's when I'm like, no, dude, fuck you. So, I really hope my community, well, I say community with quotations because, you know, it's not really that big, but I really hope that people who watch my stream don't ever turn into a circle shark. I really hope that that's not the case. I just don't like people that agree with everything just for the sake of agreeing. And I, you know, don't like circle sharks either, so I really hope people have their own, you know, ideas, which more or less I think it's something that for now it's pretty good. I will say that people that frequent my stream usually have their own ideas, and they thankfully don't take what I say too seriously, or then they don't really hold my word in a high status or anything like that. And that's something that I'm really thankful for. Because if I had a bunch of fanboys that just see me as a god, no, dude, that's nasty. That's just nasty. I wouldn't feel comfortable. Thankfully, I don't have to do much. I mean, it's pretty hard to see this character here as something anything close than a god, so I think I don't have to worry about that. Thankfully. I think it's not a problem. Like, hopefully it never becomes a problem. Yeah, I know, as Yami says, I have nothing to worry about. While Yami is here, there is nothing to worry about. And that's what I really like. I really appreciate people like Yami exactly because of that. Yami is not afraid of calling me in my bullshit, is not afraid of talking shit of me, and is not afraid of disagreeing with me. And that's how it has to be. That's how a community should be. A community should be made of individuals. Like, obviously, all part of a community in one way or another, but individuals. They have their own ideas. They just happen to be in the same place. But I don't like mob mentality or circle jerks at all. He gets salty at discussions he can whims and claims you're not studying. Damn. That's really funny. Anyways, the point is, yeah. I was using a different aspect ratio and an emulator. Some people also suspected I cheated, despite even streaming 2 clears. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, you told me about that. You actually told me about that. That there were people that really disliked the aspect ratio and they were like incredibly salty about it for some reason. Is having a Gabi Dakimakura a problem? I don't know. Because the problem is, if I say no, is that gonna sound homophobic? That's the problem. I don't wanna sound homophobic. I mean, I guess you can have it. I don't mind. That's exactly what I keep saying. Or interact with people as individuals. Funnily enough, some of my shoot 'em up Chulas boss videos are still my most disliked videos. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, mob mentality is pretty strong, sadly. And if mob mentality is against you, there's really not much you can do. And sadly, it also happened to some people before, especially in the Toho community, right? But whatever. That's, as I say, the reason why I'm not part of any community. You know, I just interact with my own people. And when I say my own people, I mean people that watch the stream, nothing else. So, there is that. I like it that way. Definitely like it that way. Fuck, that jump at the end. To be honest, I think this kind of mentality is what's killing cave shoot-em-ups. Why? I'm pretty sure what's killing cave shoot-em-ups is the lack of popularity of the genre. Not really anything else. I mean, there could be another factor, but it will probably be a really minor factor. The reason why cave games are dying is because Danmaku is an quote-unquote obsolete genre. It is the way it is. I mean, it's sad, but what can't you do? It is the way things is, just like fighting games and everything else. It's just because it's the kind of genre that it's a little bit obsolete. Obviously, something being obsolete doesn't mean that it's bad. I mean, I have a really good example. My FX. My FX is such an obsolete processor, and yet, look at it go. Look at it working after so many years. So, you know, just because something is obsolete doesn't mean it's not good. I love my FX. A really good processor. The fact that it survived for so long and it keeps going, it's not that it ended. No, it keeps going. It's beautiful. If you're a new player, everyone thinks you're a nobody. If you're good, you're cheating unless you can somehow prove yourself. If you play in any other way than the intended way, it's wrong. I gave up on this kind of nonsense. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I have something that I don't know if it's a good saying in this internet era, but you know, I feel that it holds true. If you want to make friends, don't use the internet for that. It's a bad idea, because people on the internet don't behave like people. They behave like something else. Or rather, they behave like people will behave if there were no social restrictions. And that on paper sounds good, right? Everyone is their true selves, but in reality that's not really the case. Not everyone is their true selves, and most of them are just a worse version of their true selves, just because they can, because there is anonymity, right? I knew he was going to mention his phone. Of course, my processor is beautiful. My processor is beautiful. There is a theory behind it. A theory behind what? Well, there is probably a theory about everything when it comes to social behaviors. I'm no psychologist, because there are no restrictions. No, I know that. That's obvious. I mean, it brings out the worst because not because there's no restriction, but because there's little to no repercussion. That's the difference. So people can be as shitty as they want, or be as fake as they want, and nobody's gonna put you in jail for that. Which is fine in principle, in the sense that you are able to speak out your mind, but man, you can speak out your mind without being a fucking asshole about it. That's something that a lot of people don't understand. You can have your own opinion, but it's the way you say it that is the problem. That's what I felt that it was in a lot of times. A lot of people acting like their opinions are facts. Or a lot of people talking angrily, right? A lot of people being angry about what they say, or, okay, angry is probably not the right word here. It's, what's the right word for this? They are, like they talk as if they want to fight, right? Like they talk in a way that instead of trying to have a conversation, they want to fight. They are in like a war against the person that has the other opinion. Instead of calmly discussing it, provocative, yeah, provocative, I guess that's a good word for this. Like instead of trying to peacefully, you know, discuss something, you know, they should care about being right, or rather not much about being right, but more about making the other person look bad so they can themselves look good. And the problem is that a lot of people do that for petty reasons like internet points, right? Getting likes in a Reddit post, something like that. They just try to make someone else look bad so they themselves look good and people want to vote their shitty ass comments. That's the problem. And Reddit as a place, the reason why I hate Reddit so much is because of that. Reddit is not a place to have a discussion. Reddit is a place to have a circle jerk. So if that's what you're looking for, Reddit is the right place for you. But if you actually want to discuss a topic seriously, no, Reddit is the worst place. Or maybe the second worst place. Probably the first worst place is Twitter. Twitter has way more restrictions on top of likes, right? Imagine doing that in real life. Well, I know of someone that does that in real life. He's watching right now. Nah, I'm just kidding. He's not that big of an asshole. But sometimes most of the times he just wants to discuss something to be right. But it's okay. At least he admits it. And at least he has the balls to do it in real life. So, you know, it's alright. I still like you, bro. Don't worry about it. I know you're there. It's okay. Don't worry about it. But yeah. But hey, at least he doesn't do it for petty shit like internet points. He does it because he genuinely enjoys being a dick. I can respect that. I guess. Nah, I'm just kidding. I think I'm being unfair with Mr. Colo here. But you know, he really likes being right. So sometimes, instead of trying to know the other person better, or instead of trying to reach something, you know, useful for the argument, it tries to just win the argument. But it's okay. It's alright. At least he doesn't do it with complete strangers as far as I know. So, there is that. I like being right, but you don't prove me. Yeah, see? That's the thing. So, the thing is, at least he does it with people that know that they have no problem with that. Like, he doesn't do it with a stranger, right? Like, he wouldn't go to, I don't know, the police station and start fucking with them, right? Like, be like, no, I'm right and you're wrong, and then flip the bird. Of course, I do it with strangers. Oh, you do it with a police officer? Are you sure about that? Well, when I say strangers, I mean people that you meet on the street. I don't mean people that you know, but they aren't that known to you. Like, for example, I don't know, co-workers or, you know. I don't mean that people, I mean complete strangers from the street. I done it with police officers. Well, at the hostel, yeah, but they are pretty much your co-workers in a way. I mean, they are probably used to go there. So I'm talking about people that you have never met before, and that there is no reason to argue them. I guess police officers, there is a reason to argue with them because, you know, that's kind of like you're trying to defend yourself or defend someone else. But, like, for example, you know, being on the street and, I don't know, just starting shit with a complete stranger just for the sake of starting shit. Well, that's what internet does. In the internet, people start shit with people they have never met before just for the sake of starting shit. I'm pretty sure you don't do that on the street. Like, you just don't see a random person and are like, you know, I think that X thing should be Y thing, right? And then you start arguing and telling them that they are wrong. I don't think you do that. Which, I mean, I'm glad you don't do that. But, you know, maybe you do, I don't know. But, well, I guess it has more merit doing it in real life than doing it behind a keyboard. At least you have the balls to do that. Also, yeah, I read what you say, Thunder. Yeah, likes and every kind of internet point system is a joke. Yeah, it is. It is. But, you know, what can you do? Those sites are made for that. But, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, again, the main point that I'm trying to make here is not that Colo is a dumbass or anything. No. The main point I'm trying to make is you don't make friends over the internet. Like, you just don't. It's a bad idea. It's just a really bad idea. Like, I know that especially in times like this, you know, going outside is not an option. In fact, even if it was an option, I wouldn't do it either. But the point is, there are some people that try to make friends on the internet and they turn out being like, they turn out, you know, being a really despicable person because they hang out with people that are despicable, right? They hang out with people that have no concept of what it means being a respectful person. So they end up hanging out with them, and then they turn into them because they don't know any better. So, you know, looking for friends over the internet is just a bad idea. It's just a pretty bad idea. But, you know, there are some people that are not looking for friends either. And I think that's the smartest choice here, especially when we talk about the internet, right? It's just a really bad place for that. Regardless of what we're talking about, right? Discord servers, Reddit, you know, Twitter, all of those places are just bad to find, you know. Because as I say, those people have no sense of... They have no manners. I mean, okay, there are exceptions. I'm not saying that nobody in the internet has manners. But usually people that are on the internet have no sense of manners. You know, when I call my viewers stoners or things like that, I do it because I've been seeing them enough, right? Like, I'm already, you know, used to them here, so I'm confident of being able to say light shit like that without offending anyone. The problem is, Like, if there is someone new to the stream, I'm not gonna call them that, and I will expect them to not call me anything to me either. But some of that people don't have that awareness, so there might be a completely new person to the stream, and suddenly they say something like, I don't know, you play like shit, and it's fine, they can do that. Right? The internet allows that, and I also allow that. I wouldn't ban someone for telling me that I'm shit even if I don't know them. But it just speaks on how a shit ton of people on the internet lack manners. Basic manners. Not even talking about, you know, social codes or anything like that. Just manners. Just simple manners. I think I'm going to try grinding some Celeste collab maps and see if it's worth it beating everything. Well, I wouldn't know. Hopefully it is. Yeah, I guess that's the thing with some things that might be long, like some levels or some mods that might be long, that the real question is if it's worth to beat it, not if you can beat it, right? Sometimes I see bot comments that are nicer than actual people. Well, yeah, that's because, you know, bots are made to be what's the word? They are made to be appealing, right? So obviously you wouldn't see a bot being an asshole unless the main purpose of that bot is being a troll. Usually bots are supposed to be appealing because most of the times they are tied to a scam. So obviously they will want to sound appealing, right? It makes sense. Definitely makes sense. I mean, I think all of the bots that I got in my channel are scammers. I don't think I got a single bot that is not a scammer in my channel. So, you know, they are supposed to be, to use, you know, normal words, be educated and, you know, be like, hey, you know, check this out, bro. And then, you know, it's just a malware page. There is more than 80 maps, it just seems a bit too long. I did already beat 18 of the easiest ones and apparently the hardest or second hardest one. Let me see. I ban bots because, yeah, no, I ban every bot that I come across. Every single bot that I see, it's an insta ban for me. Unless, you know, someone is like, hey, I have a bot here that does this, this and this. Mind if I test it out? But if literally a bot comes just out of nowhere and start doing bot things, they are gone. They are fucking gone. I want no bots. Bots are fucking trash. So yeah. I think even if they didn't post any questionable link, they will be fucking banned in a heartbeat anyways. This is not a place for bots, this is a place for humans. Maybe some subhumans. Nah, I'm just kidding. Humans. You think my AI programming is well tuned? And yeah, I can never tell Yannick being a bot. Never ban an actual person though, even if they obviously just wanted a fight with me. No, I did ban people, but the people that I ban are because they were, first of all, breaking the Twitch terms of service, like spamming the N-word. That's the easiest one, right? Boom, you're out. And then people that choose one-man spam. Those Those usually I give them a timeout, right? And if they don't understand, I just ban them. You know, that's usually the case in I Wanna Be The Guy streams. There is a Chinese guy that apparently hates everyone that plays I Wanna Be The Guy, and he starts spamming, you know, copy pasta or things that can get you in trouble. I just ban him, because obviously he's not here to watch the content, and he's not here to do anything other than being annoying, right? So there is no reason not to ban him. I wish I could talk to him to know why he is like that, but he's clearly not interested in talking. That's for sure. So yeah, it's a shame. But there are some people that you just can't talk with, and they just have to get banned. And it's fine, I mean, I don't mind. Yeah, die. He likes saying that. I pray Miss Baffled that you ping yourself on Discord. But like, bro, I ping myself because I won't remember otherwise. Come on, bro. It's pretty obvious. Right? That's not that weird to do. I don't think anyone has broken TOS yet in the comments for me, although YouTube does sometimes delete those comments on their own. I had spammers that eventually stopped spamming, so I didn't ban them either, although if they continue I will have to prevent my videos from becoming a mess. I think that person is pretty funny. Well, it's pretty funny until he went to my Discord and posted gore. That's when it stops being funny. So at that point I just don't want anything to do with him. So yeah, it would be funny if it wasn't for that, but that's when you cross the line, dude. Like, you can't just do that. What gore? I didn't see it. Someone saw it. Thankfully I didn't see it. But sadly one of my viewers saw it and told me that he posted gore. I didn't ask him what, because it's just distasteful, right? Like, I would prefer him to forget what he saw. But yeah, it's fucked up, dude. How are you gonna do that? In fact, he pinged everyone. He used the everyone ping in Discord and posted gore. And I'm like, dude, that's such a shitty ass thing to do. Like, you know that there are people in my Discord that are underage, right? Like, it's still nasty to see it even being an adult. It's nasty for everyone, but don't you really think that you have the chance of traumatizing kids just because of what you did? Well, he doesn't care, clearly, but that's when it stops being funny. That's when it starts being an actual offense. That's when it starts doing actual harm. Because, you know, it's really hard to get away from your mind, like to take off your mind a traumatizing image. So that's just really fucked up. No idea what the point is. Well, apparently, I don't know, someone told me that he lost his mind some time ago, and apparently he holds a grudge against the fan game community. I don't know what the story is, but some people know him, and apparently he is... I don't know what event will have caused him to be like that, but it's not troll. It's not there to troll. I think it's genuine hatred. Like, he definitely has genuine hatred for the community. If it was a troll, he wouldn't go to such lengths. Posting gore is no joke, dude. Especially in a place where people will be impressionable. Why go and troll? Yeah, as I said, Why not choose the people that he hates? No, I think the problem is at some point he might have a problem with the fan game community as a whole. So now he directs his anger towards anyone that streams I wanna be the guy. You might think that it's not reasonable, but the thing is, people that have such hatred don't do reasonable things. I mean, that's basically, you know, a pretty similar logic with bigotry in general. People that hate specific groups of people. When there is hate, there is no logic. Okay, sometimes, no, I'm not talking to people, but like for example, I hate competitive games, right? And it's not like I hate it for no reason. It's because I hate competing, right? So in that case, there is a logic behind it. But usually, I mean, people that hate groups of people, they think that they have a logic behind it. But the thing is, not everyone is the same. The same reason why he here, you know, just tries to ruin everyone's stream, because he might think that everyone that plays I Wanna Be the Guy is the same, right? So while he might think that what he's doing is logic, it's really not. Also, when I say I hate competitive games, I don't really hate competitive games. I just don't like it. The problem is that I try to come with an example, but I don't know. What do I hate? Is there something that I genuinely hate? Because a lot of times I say I hate this, but I usually just exaggerate. Is there really something I hate? I'm trying to think, because there is definitely something I hate. But I don't know what. I mean, most of the things that come to my mind are things that I dislike. Like, for example, Iosis, which is a Touhou circle, a Doshin circle. Tasofro, which is also a Touhou circle. Well, competitive games, as I said. But those are dislikes. That's not hate. I don't think I really hate many things. I don't know, maybe it's just that they are not coming to my mind right now. Well, earlier today I say that I hate when people don't name their variables properly, or when they don't do proper indentation of the code. But, well, I guess that will be an example, because that's not just dislike, that's, I think, genuine hate, because seeing shitty ass code from people that could have made a little bit of effort to just make the code better, I guess I hate that, because it really shows lack of empathy or lack of interest from whoever did that code. And again, when you're coding, you're not just coding for yourself, especially in environments like the one that I'm working at. So I guess that's something that I hate. That's something that I do hate. Does he hate everyone? No, as I said, it's like he just probably hates the community. And in his hate, he doesn't realize that the community is not a single person. Which is, again, the reason why I say that bigotry usually follows the same principle. It's hate, irrational hate, because of thinking that a group of people are exactly the same, which is obviously not true. It's weird because I remember there being some people that tried to reason with them. Originally, as far as I'm aware, they only had a problem with a few specific people. Yeah, but you never know. There might have been a traumatic event that turned them like that. And if that's the case, what you gonna do, right? But yeah, it usually is irrational hate. Irrational hatred. But you know, I guess it's also hard to define hate. I don't know. But the point is that most of, at least when it comes to hating on a group of people, that's like 99% of the times irrational. Because, as I say, not everyone is the same. So, hating in a group of people just because of a singular characteristic they share, in this case playing fun games, is just irrational. Obviously there are better examples, but I don't think even them on Twitch will be a good idea, even if Twitch will agree with me or not. Because, you know, those things are spicy right now. But yeah, the point is hating on groups just because of a few people, or worse enough, just because of one people. It's just irrational, to say the least. To say the least. I mean, well, it's kind of like when you hear me say I hate this game, or I hate this creator, or I hate this boss, or I hate whatever. That's just me obviously being irrational because I'm salty. Right? So, you know, I guess that's an example of irrational hatred, but that's why I always tell people, don't really take what I say seriously. Especially when I'm doing something hard. Don't take what I say seriously, because most of the times what I say comes from the salt. So, just say that beforehand, before someone thinks that I genuinely hate the person that created this game. No, obviously I don't genuinely hate him. You know, it's just I probably said I hate him or something in the middle of the salt, or maybe even worse things. But you know, the point is that that's the salt talking. That's the irrationality talking. That's not me being logical. So that's why I say don't take everything I say seriously. In fact, I will suggest to not take most of the things that I say seriously. Just enjoy the show. I had people that were part of the circle share against me, and yet I still watch them. To be honest, I didn't mind, and I don't really care. It's best not to let your hate consume you. Well, I usually try to not make any enemies, so thankfully I don't have anything like that yet, and I really hope that it's not the case ever. I hate having people that don't like me. I mean, one thing is having people that don't like what I do or don't like my stream. Sure, that's fine. I don't like when people have a grudge against me. I hate that. Especially because that's exactly what I try to avoid. I try to avoid having grudges with people because grudges are trash. They feel like trash. Like, I remember when I have the typical high school grudge or something like that, or some stupid shit that you have when you are little, that sometimes I couldn't sleep well at night. Because I was like, damn, this person hates me now. Oh, you know. Sometimes people make enemies of you, not the other way around. Yeah, I know. Does Bravi still watch your stream? Yeah, sometimes he comes. He is here and there. He usually is here more for the Touhou streams, which is understandable because that's what he likes. But yeah, he is around here. It is still around here. Well, Bravi is sadly a pretty good example of this. A person that is getting stalked for no reason. Yeah, exactly. That bad stuff that you hear about him is because there is one asshole or maybe one group of assholes that hate him because, you know, he puts a lot of emphasis on his OCs. And I understand that that Bravi might not be the best person communicating stuff. Like, I understand that sometimes some of the things he says might come off as pedantic or something like that, but he doesn't have bad intentions. The problem is that people assume the worst every time. And Bravi is a victim of that. Bravi is a victim of people assuming the worst of him every time and not giving him a chance. I understand. Sometimes Bravi can be a little bit hard to talk with, but, you know, if you have just a little bit of patience, you can still hold a conversation, right? But some people don't think that way, and they have basically made Bravi an enemy. It's sad, but I mean, people are just shitty. What do you want me to do? And sadly, there's nothing I can do. Like, what can I do? I don't even know the people that have a grudge against him, and I don't even care about knowing them either. So, the only thing I can do is just, you know, if there's someone that is talking shit about him in my chat, at least try to tell him to knock it off. And, well, obviously ban the imposters, because he has a lot of imposters for some reason. But other than that, I can't do anything else. It is the way it is, I just can't do anything else. It's sad, but you know. People think he's a bad person, and yet all I see is hatred from them. I mean, this comes from a community that, you know, I don't like to generalize the Touhou community because, as I say multiple times, the Touhou community is huge. Not just in the world, but also in, you know, specific places. It's also pretty big. So generalizing a community is not a good thing. But people that are into Touhou are not specifically, you know. Well, I don't know what to say without sounding really offensive, but my point is, you know, they are not the most sociable individuals. Alright, let's say that. A lot of people that are into Touhou, and as I was saying before, are a lot of people that have no manners because they usually don't interact with real people. They only have interaction through internet. That wouldn't be a bad thing if they knew how to differentiate between someone being an asshole and someone being a reasonable person. I feel like most people that are into like otaku hobbies like Touhou are like that. Everything I hear... No, that's the thing. That's why I don't like talking about community. That's the problem. I also don't like the word community, but what I'm trying to say is that usually people that are into hobbies like Touhou are not the most sociable individuals. So they don't know how to express themselves without sounding like assholes. Some of them, not all of them, but that's what's happening to Bravi. A lot of people assume bad faith from Bravi because they just haven't met enough people to know that he has no bad intentions. He just might not have the best way to express himself, but that doesn't mean someone is bad. I mean, I have people in my own work that you hear them talk and you're like them, is this guy for serious? Is this guy really that like this, but then you realize that that's just their way of expressing themselves. They don't have bad intentions. They are just, they just use, I don't know, unfortunate words sometimes. When I say unfortunate words, I don't mean slurs. I mean words that could be interpreted as, as aggressive or as pedantic. And maybe they are even pedantic words, but someone being pedantic doesn't mean that they are a bad person. I mean, some people also fail to see that not everyone is perfect. So someone being pedantic doesn't take away from whatever other qualities they might have. But as soon as they saw one flaw, they are like, let's go after him. He's not perfect. I guess I didn't mention it, but this Skrill-like song is interesting, and I see communities are still the topics. Guys, just give no fucks to what people have to say. No, that's what we do. That's basically what we are discussing about. That basically it's best to understand that most people on the internet just don't have manners and they won't talk like civilized people. Once you understand that, your staying in the internet is gonna be a lot better. But it's something that sometimes you forget about. And again, especially in these pandemic situations where it's hard to have contact with real people. Again, I wouldn't have contact with real people either, but I don't know. I mean, I guess my family did a good job in teaching me mannerisms. So even if I don't talk to a lot of people, I understand what I should or should not say to a stranger, and what I should be more confident of saying with close people, right? But sadly a lot of people got educated by the internet, and that might sound funny, but it's pretty sad because that's the thing. A lot of people choose their parents didn't give them the attention they needed, they deserve it, and they just got educated by the internet, and that's the result. You have a lot of people being angry for no reason, hating people for no reason, starting arguments for no reason. But that's just the nature of the internet. At some point, bad parenting becomes a problem, and that's when you start seeing the consequences. I would like it more if people could think for themselves more. Yeah, that too. I notice people seem to keep grudges basically forever, even if it's completely irrelevant. Yeah, that's something that I also notice. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm gonna repeat this. These are people that have been educated through the internet. So sadly, you can't expect much from them. I mean, it's a sad thing, it's a sad fact, but it's true in a lot of cases. I mean, obviously there is also other people that are just assholes because they are assholes, because, that's the way they are. But most of the times you can tell that people that have no manners in the internet, you can tell that they were probably educated by the internet. So in the internet, where everyone can act like an asshole without consequences, of course, you're gonna see that and you're gonna be like, so that's how people talk. Alright, I'm gonna try it. And then you will see that people react to what you say without much trouble because they are also used to it, so they are like, oh, this is how I should talk. I mean, it might sound ridiculous what I say, but that's usually how people learn about social interaction. They learn through other social interactions, right? But with people that only use the internet, there is no other social interaction other than the ones that they see on the internet. So they think that what's in there is okay. And then there's people who just like to see the world burn. Yeah, and then there's people who like to see the burn. Yeah, that's true. Then there is those that there is not really much you can do there. I mean, these are people that probably know that what they are doing or saying is bad, and that they know that they are aware that they are assholes, but they just don't care, and more importantly, don't care to change that. So, you know, that's why I'm gonna repeat this again, because I don't think I can say it enough. The internet is not a good place to make friends. It's not. It's just not. You are better off making friends with an AI. Now, sometimes even that's bad, because usually the AI is trained through the internet. So yeah, no, that's a bad idea too. Well, regardless, the point is, you know, fuck communities. That also is the point. Yeah. It's the way it is. I think another problem is that, you know, there is obviously that people that I mentioned that get educated with the internet, but there are other people that, you know, had mannerisms before, but because of the lockdown they are slowly losing them, right? Since they are not really meeting with other people as often, they are starting to lose those mannerisms, and they are started to act like lunatics. And that's understandable, but it's sad to see. But then again, what can you do there? I don't think there is a solution for that. I mean, obviously, it's still the fault of the person for acting like that, in the sense that, you know, not meeting people, I don't think it's an excuse for acting like an asshole, but at the same time, you know, there's not much that can be done there. This pattern should not be a problem. Or maybe it is. The internet can be savage, so it's better to keep a low profile a lot of times. Let's see. This problem, I guess the problem is not internet. You shouldn't even deal with people you consider idiots, and that applies to real life too. Talk to people, and if they are assholes, no, but that's the problem. That's the problem. You say that to me, and I have no problem identifying who is an asshole or not. The problem is people that, because they have no sense of social interactions, they just don't understand what's being an asshole and what's not. That's the problem. Not people like us that are aware of how you should behave or how you should not behave. The problem is the people that legitimately don't know because they were never educated by a person. They were educated by the internet. So that's the problem. Not with us. We don't have that problem, and I hope I never have that problem, because I don't know who I'm gonna turn out in the future. I really hope I don't have the problem of being an asshole. I mean, I can't make any promises, I can't read the future, but I'm gonna work to make sure that that's not the case. You know. I need the name of this song. Well, when I upload this to YouTube in like 5 days or something, I'm probably gonna get copyright strike, so, you know. They will tell me the name of the song there. But until then, I guess you will just have to use Shazam or some shit like that. Come on, bro, you have a fucking cell phone. Make use of it. You're not like me that has absolutely no cell phone at all. Make use of your fucking cell phone. Come on, bro, it's not that hard. Just open Shazam, you know, put the phone close to the speakers, and that's it. Oh, here's the music. Thanks! What's this? I wonder who is the one. Oh, it's Puzzleite. This guy makes a lot of music for reading games, in particular Sound Voltage. Yeah, I know T Puzzleite. If you're interested, Colo, check Sound Voltage soundtrack. Sound Voltage soundtrack. Sound Voltage is a reading game, right? Has a lot of music that is of this style. I think it has 4 games so far. I think it's Gravity Wars, Sound Heaven. I don't know the order, but there is like 4. I have bad news for you. The more you live, the more of an asshole you become. I thought that the game, you know, crashed, but it was just the fact that it wasn't focused on the window. I don't know. I mean, I know what you say, and I know that that might become true, but I'm gonna work hard to, even if I become an asshole, to become a little bit less of an asshole that I will become if I put no effort into it. I'm gonna try. I'm not saying I'm gonna succeed, but I'm gonna try not to become an asshole. I'm gonna try to. Maybe I'll fail. But you know, hopefully not. You never know. I can't read the future. Fuck me. You did Shazam. You didn't do it good enough. T Puzzleite is featuring a lot of avoidances. Nice. Yeah, it's probably because the music is so frenetic, right? Hey Clonecat, how is it going? Yeah, this is not the DLC, but it's an extra boss. Yes, in fact I beat the final boss within the first 20 minutes of the stream. Which is pretty funny, because basically I had the whole stream free to do whatever the fuck I wanted. And I decided to give this extra boss a try, but I'm not really gonna try hard this, I'm just telling you that. I mean, after all, I already beat the game. The final boss is actually the final boss. This is just an extra that you can play or not. I mean, I already got the credits and everything, so that's what matters. This is just, you know, something else. It's okay. I mean, I don't really like avoidances, and this is definitely not an exception, but it's there. It's an additional challenge, or an extra challenge. Oh, it's called DLC. Interesting. Do you mind a spoiler for Lunatic? No, not at all. I mean, I'm never gonna play Lunatic. Or hard, for that matter. So you can say whatever you want. I mean, I know, never say never and all of that, but I really don't see myself playing Lunatic. The patterns and the music get along pretty well. Yeah, well, that's usually the approach of avoidances. Well, I know that you don't like Touhou or Touhou-like games, Colo, but there is a game that is it's not technically a Touhou fan game, but it's basically Touhou with different characters. It's called Barrage Musical. I don't remember the subtitle, but it's called Barrage Musical. You can find it on Steam by that name. every attack, it's a Danmaku game, right? It's a bullet hell. Every attack is synchronized with the music, which is the reason why it's called Barrage Musical in the first place, right? I know you don't like those kind of games, but if you are interested, that's a really good game for that kind of stuff. I don't enjoy trying to avoid small... Well, but that's... there are good news for you. That game features an auto-dodge functionality. You can hold a button and the AI will automatically dodge for you. Obviously, it will not dodge the hardest of attacks, but it can dodge a lot of stuff. Yeah, it has an auto-dodge. Right, play Cadence of Hyrule. Well, yeah, I know you'd rather play something else, but the point is, if that's your problem, this game is pretty novice friendly. Not just because of the auto-dodge, but the difficulty is also pretty novice friendly. So, you know, I will recommend it. I recommend that game to everyone. I love that game. Sadly, it's incredibly unpopular. And that's because it's obviously overshadowed by Touhou. And since people... Oh no, I didn't see the lunatic comment. Sorry, the final boss there is this boss and Balak together. Wow. Well, I know what I'm not playing. Thanks for the warning. I mean, I still had a little bit of will to try Lunatic at some point, but I gotta say that with that warning, that was perfect. So you mean that the game takes care of the only thing that gives it a purpose? No, dude. You're not paying attention. See, that's why I mean that Colo always wants to be right and doesn't want to argue in good faith. The reason why I recommended you that game is not because of the difficulty. I recommended you that game because the patterns are synchronized with the music. So that's the whole point of why I'm recommending it to you, not because the difficulty. So no, it's not the only purpose, because the game is literally designed to be a musical in the shape of a bullet hell. So, you know. The point here is, fuck you. That's not a game, that's a graphic novel, damn. Yeah, remember when I mentioned people talking without knowing? Damn, this is the prime example. He didn't even see the game. He thinks that the auto-dodge is gonna automatically carry his ass. Anyways, that's why I don't like arguing with that guy. Colo is not is not someone that argues in good faith. So, you know, it's not because he disagrees. It's not because it disagrees or anything. It's just because, you know, he doesn't care about anything other than making someone else look bad. But it's okay. I use your description. Yeah, sure. Anyway, see, that's the prime example of the kind of person that you should avoid getting into a discussion with. Avoid them like the plague, and you will be mostly fine. But, you know, it's alright. At least he's self-aware. A lot of people are not self-aware. But at least he has self-awareness. Just for that no-miss achievement, I think it was. But you can play in easy for the no-miss achievement. You don't need to use auto-dodge. You can just play on easy. The health values on Lunatic are extremely high though, so upgrading weapons a lot is necessary. Yeah, you see right there, you know, The fact that he uses loses a discussion is already telling that that's the kind of person that you shouldn't hang out with. A discussion is not about who wins or who loses. It's about, trading ideas. So if you see someone that, when it comes to debates or discussions, uses the words win or lose, that's when you know that you should never get into a discussion with that person. That's what you should know. If you know that, you will be fine. As I say, it's all about that, winning or losing. Not about, interchanging ideas. It's all about win or lose. So those are the people that you have to avoid engaging in a discussion like the plague. You have to avoid that. There are no rules of discussing. The rules are not being an asshole. I know that that's too hard for you, but the point is, the rules are the same rules of being a decent person. For starters, being empathetic is a good start. Or empathic, whatever the fuck that word is pronounced. I don't give a shit, you get the point. But it's alright. In any case, I don't see any point on continuing this avoidance either. Doesn't seem like I can get past that attack. But at least it was nice to try. In any point, in any case, the important thing is that, this is, I guess, a good avoidance if you like avoidances. But I don't. So, as I said at the beginning of this, I'm not gonna try hard this. I'm just not gonna try hard it. So, well, you beat Balak, yeah, that's the important thing. That's the important thing. But, I guess it was worth to give it a try. I mean, I would have felt bad if I stopped playing this without giving this a honest try. And now that I give it a honest try, it's definitely not my thing. I really don't feel like try-harding this. So, I guess I'm gonna leave it here. But, she is. At least we beat the game, okay? That's what truly matters. What's next? On the next stream, I'm gonna stream Horizon Chase, which is an arcade car game. But, the plan is that after that stream, I will start playing Touhou Danmaku fan games. Which, I will have to decide which one. There are lots of them. There is lots of stuff going around there. I don't know which one I should pick, but I'm gonna try to make an effort to, pick a fun game that doesn't fucking suck, if it's possible. Though I know that the only way of knowing that will be actually playing it. So, I guess it's gonna be more like a safari. But instead of animals, we're gonna be hunting, fun games. So there is that. Anyways, thanks everyone a lot for watching, and I'll be seeing you on the next stream. So take care everyone and have a good one.